Welcome to episode 33 of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. My name is William Fizzpatrick, and happy post-Halloween, folks, as we enter the fall and winter seasons known as Thanksgiving and Christmas, which you know what that means. It's the holiday shopping season is upon us. May the barbarian hordes consume all of those shopping supplies and groceries and whatever else that they're going to obviously brute and pillage and destroy.
Yes. And if you're like me and you work retail, you know this time of year is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it means your paychecks are pretty nice. It's a curse because it means you work a lot and you're utterly exhausted. Welcome to my life, people.
Yes. Welcome to Sal's life, my co-host's life for the next, I guess, couple months.
Yeah, it's already started getting busy like we briefly talked about. We've been getting a lot of trucks. So it's been, let's say, fun.
First the siege weapons, then the barbarian horde.
Yeah, seriously. I'm not sure which one is worse, though.
Probably I'm going to go with the barbarian horde because at least, you know, with the trucks, they're inanimate objects. With the barbarian horde, they're people wielding shoes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true.
I once witnessed a shoe brawl at the local Bon-Ton a few years ago. People were fighting over discounted shoes, and the salesperson was screaming, ladies, calm down, please, calm down.
Jesus. You know, like we were talking about, though, Black Friday coming up and all that, you know how you hear all the horror stories about shopping with all the people getting into fights and stuff. We don't really get that. What we got last year was someone somehow thinking they could steal an Xbox. They got caught. I mean, how in the hell are you going to smuggle an Xbox out? And this was around the same time of year. I don't know if it was on Black Friday or not, but there was someone who was arrested for having heroin on them while they were in the store. It was weird. But, you know.
But there's one glorious, wonderful joy of this time of the year that we are going to be talking about today on Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling, because we're not going to be doing our usual pro wrestling talk this week. As you might have noticed by the title of this video, a horde of angry sumo wrestlers has squashed regular pro wrestling once again, so we have to talk about the Kyushu Basho, which is the last basho of the year in professional sumo wrestling.
Yes. And what a perfect time for Sumo to squash WWE. Thank God. I honestly get the feeling WWE is thanking Sumo for this because they would have been like answering to the firing squad for the crap they pulled last week. But we'll get into that next week or some other time. I don't know. They can sit and glitter, as friend of the show Things and Stuff would say.
Yep, TM Things and Stuff. They can go sit and glitter for this week because the winter of sumo is upon us. Now, the Kyushu Basho is, as I said, the last basho of the year. It's held on the second Sunday of November, which is why we're talking about it this week, because the basho is next week. And that gives us plenty of time to talk about the 42 combatants in this particular sumo tournament. Now, if you watched our Aki Basho coverage last time, we made a bit of a ominous prediction, which we didn't even know was going to happen. I predicted that the Aki Basho was going to be a very strange basho. How weird was it that I turned out to be correct on that?
Yeah, how weird. You know, we said it would be strange. By strange, we didn't mean, hey, 7 sumo wrestlers are going to be out injured, including 3 Yokozuna and 2 Ozeki.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus, Fizzy, you cursed all these poor people.
Well, I'm not sure if I cursed them or Haruma Fuji cursed them because he was the guy
I think Goedo cursed them, and then he blew it.
Goedo, the Detroit Lions or Detroit Red Wings of sumo.
God help me. But no. He's like when Cleveland blew their 3-1 lead, the Warriors blew their 3-1 lead, Goedo blew a 3-win lead, the Falcons blew a 28-3 lead at halftime. There were a lot of blown leads.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to be talking about the 42 wrestlers, starting from the Yokozuna to the Mega Shira 16 ranked sumos. We start off, of course, with the guy that saved every Yokozuna's bacon at this point, Haruma Fuji, because he won the Basho last time.
Yeah, it didn't look like he would, mainly because, with 5 days left, he had 4 losses and he was down by 3 wins. And then Guedo had his monumental collapse, and Haruma Fuji won it as the only competing Yokozuna.
Mhm. So naturally, he's ranked at the top of the Yokozuna rankings at Yokozuna 1 East.
Yep.
So what do you think how is he going to do in this particular Basho?
I don't think he's going to win it because he won it at 11-4. And in that Basho, 11-4 was good enough to win it. Assuming everyone stays healthy, and I mean, I highly doubt we're going to get 7 injuries again. If we do, Sumo might want to consider having an off season like WWE does, or should, excuse me. But it's like I just don't see him winning it. I think he'll finish near the top of the pack. I think he'll be a win or two behind the winner.
Historically speaking, this Basho is actually favorable towards Haruma Fuji. He won it in 2013. He finished 11-4 in 2014. In 2015, he won it again. And in 2016, he also finished 11-4. I think this year he is going to be in contention for this Basho win because this is a cold Basho. It's different from the summer Bashos, which have the high heat. This is a very cold Basho. Although I think I might be thinking about the pro wrestling show I might be going to this weekend that's being held at an ice arena, so that's why I'm thinking cold. So, Haruma Fuji, I think he'll be in contention for the win in this particular Basho. A lot closer than I think a lot of people are expecting him to be. Next up is the guy, one of the free Yokozunas that was out with injury last time, Hakuho.
Yep, Lord Hakuho lost his title, although he lost it due to not competing. So, this is where we need to have like the WWE style rematch clause. Like, I would love it if Hakuho just came down right after Haruma Fuji won it and said, "You never beat me for this. I challenge you for it," or something. Just go full pro wrestling with it. But yeah, he did not compete. Apparently, his knee injury was worse than it feared, and stuff happened.
Second year in a row that he skipped out on third year in a row that he skipped out on the Aki Basho. Like we said, this guy has been snake bit the last 3 years in the Aki Basho. However, he's returned fairly strong after skipping the Aki Basho. In 2015, he finished 12-3 and finished runner-up. In 2016, he finished 11-4. I think he'll do okay this year. He'll probably be in contention like everybody else, and he'll finish with a strong rank.
Yeah. The question for me is if he gets to 27, if he gets to like May and July of this year form, he's probably winning the damn thing. I just wonder if he'll be in that form.
Yeah, he started out slow doing his training regimen, but that's usually how he does it traditionally. He will do okay, I think, like I said, in this Basho. He'll probably finish either runner-up, but I'm not sure if he's going to win.
Yeah. I think he'll be one of the guys who's at the top of this, too. Kind of hard to say who will win, mainly because, like if he had been healthy last tournament and it finished really strong, I'd be like, yeah, this guy's probably going to win it, mainly because, he had won the 2 before it. But, this injury kind of throws a monkey wrench into my prediction. So.
Then we have Kisana Sato, who's at Yokozuna 2 East. He has come back strong in his pre-regimented training regimen. I think he'll do good in this Basho. He'll be near the top, I think.
Yeah. He really needs to have a good tournament this time because so far his run as Yokozuna has been pretty disappointing. I mean, he's been injured for most of it, so I'm not saying that to be mean to the guy, but, it just hasn't been the best. I think if he needs a good tournament, so I think he's going to come out guns blazing because he needs this. The past 3 tournaments he's missed. He hasn't competed in 28 of 45 matches. So, You know, he needs this good tournament.
I think he'll do great in this tournament because he's finally getting well from his injuries. I feel as though that he will do well on the East Yokozuna 2 side of things. He has a very good chance at possibly winning this Basho, and all the Yokozuna I feel have a really good shot at winning this Basho, which is concerning for the rest of the field because I think they were hoping that they might win a Basho or two.
They had their chance last time and they blew it.
Yeah. That's why they were so hungry last time to win the Aki Basho, because that was one of their few chances at winning, because the Yokozuna are going to be coming back strong if possible. Finally, we have the most desperate man in this tournament, Kakiru.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's still around and hasn't been quote unquote asked to retire. I mean, I said Kisana Sato was disappointing. Good Lord, this guy is even more disappointing. In his last 3 tournaments, you know how many wins he's had? 3.
3, yeah.
And but here's the thing, he's been injured for most of it. He's missed 36 out of 45 matches. This is just, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, I get being injured. I get that. But good Lord, you know, it's just, wow. I mean, he needs to have a good tournament. I get the feeling if he doesn't have a good tournament, he will be, quote unquote, asked to retire.
I think he will have a good tournament if he competes in this one. If not, he'll retire. But, you know, the thing is that he's had a very successful career as a Yokozuna. He's had a very successful career as an Ozeki. He's a guy that will definitely be considered second fiddle to Hakuho in regards to Hakuho and Haruma Fuji, but I feel like he's had a good career as a Yokozuna. I think that he'll have a good Basho if he does compete, and I think that he will do relatively well.
I hope he does.
So now we get to what is called the stretch of the wall. We have the Ozekis, the Sekiwakis, the Komosubis, and then Megashiras 1 through 4. We start off with Mr. Choke Job himself, Guido.
Dun, 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 dun. He failed so bad. It was his to win. My goodness, I don't think Atlanta choked that as bad against the Patriots as he choked in this tournament. He needed like 2 wins over his last 5 matches, I believe. He got 1. He went, or no, excuse no, 2 over his last 4. He went 1-3. How did he do this?
Because he was matched up against opponents that had either had winning records or really good against this guy.
Yeah, it was not good, to say the least.
So how does he bounce back from this? What do you think his record's going to be in this Basho?
Well, he's hoping to bounce back better from a playoff loss than former Ozeki compatriot Teruno Fuji a couple of tournaments ago. That's for dang sure. How do I think he'll bounce back? I don't know. I think he'll do fine. I'm expecting him to go like, I don't know, 9-6, 10-5. I don't think he wins the thing, but I think he'll have a solid tournament.
Yeah, he was 9-6 last year in 2016. He historically has struggled a little bit in this Basho. 8-7 in 2013, 5-10 in 2014, 8-7 in 2015, 9-6 last year. He will have a good record. Not sure if he's going to be competing for the win, but you never know with Guido. Might just decide that he wants to steamroll the competition.
Yeah. After that is the only other Ozeki, because yes, we lost one. Takayasu. Who had a pretty solid showing in his first run as Ozeki at finishing 9-6. And then he went 1-2-12 because he got injured.
Yes, he was one of the unfortunate 7.
Yes. You know, he's got Oban, which means if he doesn't get a winning record this tournament, he's going down to Sekiwaki. So he is going to come out strong because he does not want to be demoted.
Yeah, he's going to be having a good record this tournament because he's returned well from his injury, and he has been sparring with Kasena Sato, his stablemate, and I think that he'll do well in this tournament.
I think he will too.
Next is Mitakumi, who ran into what we call the brick wall, or actually a stone wall, or a concrete wall, or a titanium wall, because he finished 8-7 in the last Basho.
Yeah. Although all things considered, that 8-7 finish wasn't terrible. It looked like it would be a lot worse, halfway through than it actually was. Than it actually ended up being. So.
Yeah, he had an okay performance in the last Basho, but there are some concerns here as to whether or not he can continue his consistently good winning ways in this top rank. He has to face against the sagely old master known as Yoshikaze.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I mean, he's the past few tournaments he's been a consistent 9-6, 8-7. So looking at this, I think he'll be fine. I don't think he'll be too bad. I think he'll stay around that 8-7, 9-6, maybe 10-5, maybe. But I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think both of these guys, both Sekiwakis, I think will be fine in this tournament. Of course, we need to talk about the third Sekiwaki, which is Terunofuji, who has a one shot at getting back into the Ozeki ranks from this position.
Yep, he needs to get 10 wins. He better hope and pray to God he gets 10 wins. Because, after that devastating loss in the playoff to Kiseno Sato back in May, well, let's just say, he went 1-5-9 twice in a row. Not exactly the best record. In fact, he started losing 2, won his third match, and then lost 2 in a row before withdrawing in both tournaments. It was seriously a mere repeat.
So we think that Mitakumi will do fine. We think that Yoshikaze will do fine.
Yeah, I think Yoshikaze will be fine. He's been solid lately. Terunofuji, I have no idea what to think. I think he'll come out he'll come out hard and trying to win. I don't know if he does. Do you think he gets 10 wins?
I don't know. I mean, this historically the winter basho for Terunofuji, he's done okay. Never's gotten 10 wins in this basho, but he's done okay.
That's not a good sign.
Yeah, he was West Megashira free 8-7 in 2014, 9-6 in 2015, 8-7 in 2016.
Part of me kind of hopes, like on his last tournament fight, it's up against Koto Shogiku. He's like he's 9-5, needs that one win, and Koto Shogiku henkas him for the win.
Well, he probably will be facing against Koto Shogiku either in the first week or in the second week.
Jeez. You know why I want that, right?
I know, because of the fact that Terunofuji cost Koto Shogiku his Ozeki rank. Although I think Koto Shogiku will, regardless of where he's placed against Terunofuji, will do something against this guy.
Oh, yeah, no, he will. I'm just saying, the Sumo Association needs to make this happen. Like, I'm not for rigging stuff, but if you must rig something, I want you guys to rig it like this and then have this happen.
Which I think is possible given Terunofuji's constant issues with his knees against the destructive force known as Koto Shogiku, who had a very good tournament last time.
Yeah, I was wondering, is he going to get back to form? I was skeptical because, he had been in a steady decline ever since losing his Ozeki rank. Well, he came back strong, all right. 10-5, very solid record.
Yeah, he was at West Megashira 1, which is normally a death sentence for anybody who's in it, except this guy has been in the Ozeki ranks before, so for him, it was a cakewalk. And he also got a Kimboshi, which means he defeated the Yokozuna.
Yep, and he is now at Komosubi East, so.
Yep. Yeah. So he will have, I think, a decent tournament, and if Terunofuji faces against this guy, oh boy, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it will be. After him, we have the hotshot uprising youngster, Oh No Show.
Yes, Sal picked Oh No Show to possibly win the last Basho, and it was very close.
Yeah, he was tied with your pick, Asanoyama, Koto Shogiku, and I think a couple other people for third behind Haruma Fuji and Goedo.
Mm-hmm.
So, he did very good. He's at his highest rank ever once again.
Mm-hmm.
Only his fourth tournament at the top division, and
Mm-hmm.
all three of his previous tournaments, he's gone 10-5, and he won the Fighting Spirit prize last time and in his first tournament. So,
here's the problem Ono Show has to deal with now. He has to deal with a herd of angry, hungry Yokozunas,
yeah,
bouncing back Ozekis,
yeah,
Sekiwakis who have been consistently decent, one guy who's trying to get back into the Ozeki ranks, and Koto Shikiku
yep,
in the second week.
yeah. But here's the thing, though. I think he can handle it.
I think he can as well. I mean, I think he can do well against the majority of his opponents. I think the ones that might give him some trouble are Haruma Fuji, possibly Takayatsu, and Yoshikaze.
Yeah, well, even then, I think he can handle them because he beat Kiyomi, Yoshikaze, and Haruma Fuji all last tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And none of them were with withdrawal victories either. He beat them. So, I really do think he can handle this. I really think he's got this.
Mm-hmm. But we'll have to see. We'll see how he does in this tournament. I think he'll do good. I'm not sure if he'll maintain his 10-5 record, but
I think he'll finish at least 8-7.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be like 8-7, 9-6, maybe 10-5.
Mm-hmm. Because now we talk about the guys who are stuck in what is known as the wall, Megashiras 1 through 4.
Yeah, this is the position where they put you in to see, are you really that good? And this is where they weed out the weakness, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like how people would describe social Darwinism, like only the strong and all that move on, even though Darwin never advocated for using his ideals in terms of social context. But whatever. Mm-hmm. That's kind of tangenty, but whatever. Yeah, this is the kind of like the death sentence slot where they try and see how good you really are.
Mm-hmm. Starting with a guy who normally is in the Komosubi or Sekiwaki spot, Tamawashi.
Yeah, he's had a bit of the Koto Shogiku style slide. He was Sekiwaki for like ever, then went 7-8 and went down to East Komosubi, went 7-8, and now he's at East Megashira number 1. Mm-hmm. He's looking to get back into his nice, comfortable, preferred junior Sanyaku ranks.
Mm-hmm. I think he'll probably finish I think he'll finish like 9-6 in this Basho. I think he's going to have a winning record in this particular Basho because he was close the last 2 tournaments to getting a winning record, but just fell off at the end. I think he'll do okay. The other guy who's in the Megashira 1 spot in the West position is the brick wall known as Takashi Shoryu.
Yeah. He's been pretty solid. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's been hit or miss. Mm-hmm. That would be better to say. I mean, he had that 5-10 record in July, but other than that, he's actually been pretty solid. 11-4, 11-4, 5-10, 9-6, and with the outstanding performance awards. So, he looks to continue his good winning ways. Let's put it like that. He's had a pretty solid year overall, and hopefully he'll be able to finish out 2017 with a good record.
And he also beat Haruma Fuji in the last Basho, which is Aki. And I think he'll do okay in this tournament. I mean, I think he'll finish either 9-6 or 7-8. I don't know if he'll have a winning record in this tournament, but he's got this fighting spirit to compete with the top division guys, honestly.
Yeah, he does. Mm-hmm. After that, we move on to the Chiyo Brigade, the Chiyo Tairyu. Mm-hmm. Who lately he's had a good year.
Yeah.
I mean, just like 8-7, 10-5, 9-6, 8-7, last 4 tournaments, all winning records. Mm-hmm. This was a guy who was in Juryo in March of 2017 and just came back and is, kicking ass, taking names, and is now at East Megashira number 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had a very, very strong Aki Basho. Do not let the 8-7 record fool you otherwise, because this guy defeated opponents, was very consistent in all of his matches. I think he'll do okay in this Basho. I think another 8-7 record possibly will be what he gets in this particular Basho. The key here is how is he going to do against the upper level guys? Because that's going to be the key.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, because against guys on his own level, he did very well. Against some of the upper level guys, hit or miss. Something else that concerns me about him is he ended the tournament 0-5. Although he did have he started 4-0, dropped 2, and then went 4-0 after that, and then went 0-5. So, kind of like with Takanoya, the question I asked last time is which Takanoya is going to show up, which Chiyotairyu is going to show up.
Which Shohozan is going to show up in this basho is God. Toshinozan.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking Shodai, sorry. But no, Toshinozan. Yeah, which one of him is going to show up? Are we going to see July Toshinozan, who went 12-3? Or are we going to see 6-9 disappointing West Komusubi Toshinozan, who went 6-9?
But like I said with the last guy, Chiyotaru, do not let the 6-9 record, fool you, because he had a solid tournament overall. It's just he had some very hard-fought defeats.
Yeah, he was really competitive and stuff. It's just one of those things where it's like some guys were better that tournament. So, it'll be interesting to see.
And then after that, we have Shohozan.
He's had a good couple of tournaments the past two. 10-5 at West Megashira number 10 in July, and 8-7 at East Megashira number 4. Not an overly spectacular tournament, but he had some good fights. I think he'll do pretty good.
I think he'll finish 8-7, or he'll go 10-5. I think he'll do okay in this tournament if he goes against the right kind of competition in the first week and builds up a nice momentum. He'll do well against the upper level guys because he has always been a constant thorn in their side.
Yeah, he's sort of like their I can't think of the term. I know there's a term or something for it. I can't think of it though. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
After that, we have Hokuto Fuji.
Yep, Hokuto Fuji. Good old Hokuto Fuji. He's been pretty consistent in that he's been around like 8-7, 7-8. Last time was sadly a 7-8. So, although he really didn't go down too much, just went down to West number 3. He's probably looking to try and reverse that and go 8-7, but I don't think it'll be too bad for him.
I think he'll finish 8-7. I think he'll have a solid tournament. If not, it will because of the fact that he's facing against a lot of hungry competition at the top of the end of the rankings that, as we said, they want to bounce back in a big way after Aki. And Hokuto Fuji might be in the death slot at Megashira Free West.
Yeah. After that, we have another Chiyo no Kuni. At East Megashira 4, and he finished 9-6. Ever since being at East Megashira number 1 and getting absolutely slaughtered and going 2-13 back in May, he's had a couple good little tournaments. I honestly feel bad for his May tournament there. Like that's like the one outlier. Every other tournament he's gone 9-6 and then one with 8-7. So he's had a good year.
I think he'll finish either 8-7, 9-6, or he'll go 7-8, depending on the competition and depending on how he does in the first week of the tournament.
Yeah, that first week for him is key.
And then we have Mr. Inconsistency, Ichinojo.
Yeah, this is his highest rank, at least in this year, so, he's happy for that. I don't really know what to say for him. Inconsistency is the key word for him. He's a guy who went 11-4 in January and then went 6-9 the next time, and ever since then he's been like 8-7 or 7-8. He's very average. He gives up on the edge. He's a guy who just be good, damn you. Like I see some potential in you, but then you piss it away quicker than Baron Corbin. But,
I think Baron Corbin may have just spat out his tea being compared to a sumo wrestler.
Oh, Baron Corbin can get over himself. No talent, skinny, fat loser.
So after that, we have the veteran Takara Fuji.
Yeah, Takara Fuji, good old Takara Fuji. Had a nice tournament. Nice past two tournaments. He's kind of like God, who was it? We were just talking about him too. Was it Tochinozan who
Yeah.
or no, it wasn't Tochinozan, it was Chiono Kuni.
Yeah.
Or yeah, who had that one really bad May tournament and it was good the rest of the year. Yeah, no, this is the same guy.
Yeah, because he finished 3-12 in the May tournament.
Yeah, and then went 9-6 is next too. So, he's kind of like Chiono Kuni in that regard.
Very consistent wrestler. Will probably have a decent tournament, I think.
Yeah, I think he will too. He's kind of lucky in that he falls just outside the wall, which I think helps him a bit. So.
And then we have Ariwashi, who's had to deal with some injuries this year, but has always been kind of a guy that surprises people in the second half of the tournament by doing really well.
Yeah. Ariwashi, I mean, he's been solid since his return to injury. I mean, he went 7-8 the tournament right after that, but he finished very strong in that tournament. And since then, he's had 2 winning records, 8-7 in July and 9-6 in September. So, I think he'll be okay. And he had a couple pretty good wins over guys like Takekaze and stuff. So I think he'll be fine.
Yeah, and then we have Chio Soma, who's another one of the Chio Brigade.
Yep, the Chios. Kind of curious to see what he does. I mean, he's kind of inconsistent too.
But that's because he's facing against really tough competition.
Yeah, he had 2 straight 5-10 finishes and then had a nice little rebound tournament going 8-7. So
yep.
It was nice to see, and I kind of like it. I think he'll do okay. I mean, I think he'll be a guy who finishes maybe 7-8 or 8-7.
I think he possibly gets a winning record in this tournament because he's in a good position at the Megashira 6 East position. This is where his comfort zone is, and I think he'll do well here. Then we have Toshinoshin.
Yeah, he was fighting hurt most of the last tournament, and it showed because he finished 4-11. I've heard some people saying he might end up retiring soon because, he's been hurt a lot lately or been fighting through injuries. So, I hope that it won't be the case because before that tournament, he had been very solid, 12-3 in May and 9-6 in July. But
I think he'll do okay if he competes. If he doesn't compete, then he'll probably be falling down the rankings again. But, we'll see how his injury is before we can make any judgment calls on Toshinoshin.
Yep. And now, the person who did good last tournament to shut me up,
Daishomaru.
Yeah. Now, if you go back to our preview for the last tournament, you'll have heard me say this guy's really inconsistent, and the only cool thing about him is his name, and he, sucks and all that. Well, this guy decided to shut me the fuck up and went 10-5. Credit to this guy. He shut me up.
He's a guy who's, like Sal said last Basho, is inconsistent, but he found something that was working and actually managed to finish 10-5.
Yes. I mean, look, it helped that a lot of people were out injured, but still going 10-5, it isn't that bad. He even beat, Asanoyama, who was also finishing 10-5. So he beat some solid people. So he shut me up. That's all I'll say to that.
Where do you think he finishes this time?
I think he drops back down a little. I think he finishes 7-8 and 8-7.
Yeah, and then of course Daishomaru is actually even more consistent than the next guy, who's the mystery of Shodai continues.
Yes, people were heralding him as the next Ozeki, a man with incredible potential. I have no idea where all that potential went outside of a 10-5 record in May. He's been pretty bad this year. 4-11 in March, 5-10 in July, 6-9 in September. I mean, will he pull a Daishomaru and shut me the hell up? Or will he just continue being mad to, oh God, what are you doing?
I think he'll be fine in this tournament. He'll probably finish 8-7 or 7-9, as Sal said, and I feel as though that he will be fairly consistent. But here's the thing: the one thing that is the abbreviation here, he's done well in the November Basho. West Juro 5, he was 3-2 and the champion of that division. He was West Megashira 3 last time, and he finished 11-4. Consistently, the last two Bashos of this particular Basho, he's been very good. So we'll see where he goes from here, because he might have another good Basho.
Yep. Up next is someone I'm going to call Mr. Jekyll and Hyde.
Takanoya.
Yeah, and there's a reason I call him that. In July, and in the preview last time, we noted how he went 6-9, lost his first 7 matches, but then won his last 4. And I wondered, well, which Takanoya was going to show up? Well, Takanoya then finished 8-7 in the next tournament, this past one. Mm-hmm. And he won his first 4 and lost his last 4. Mm-hmm. This is a guy who I'm going to call Jekyll and Hyde because this is how his records tend to work. He usually starts really hot or really badly and then does the inverse at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He is a total Jekyll and Hyde. It is very weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is weird, but I feel as though that, I think he'll do okay in this Basho. He very much is like his mentor. His stable is Takanohara, which is, one of the top sumo wrestling stables out there. And he very much is like his mentor. He has his flashes of brilliance. Not as consistent as Takanohana, of course, but sort of a lesser version, sort of the, second style or second type of, it's...
So he's a knockoff Takanohana.
So he's a knockoff, he's a knockoff Takanohana.
Like Bobby Roode is a knockoff Triple H, who was a knockoff Ric Flair. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord, I am burying so many people here today.
Mm-hmm. Yes, get out the shovels, folks, because, actually, we don't need to get the shovels out for the next guy. It's Chiyomaru.
Whoa, another Chiyo. I love this guy. Finishing 9-6 yet again. On the brink of getting, he had just come up from Juryo after finishing 9-6 and then went 9-6 again and then again. Mm-hmm. This guy is good.
Surprisingly, because of the fact that this guy has changed his style slightly. He is now working more on the belt, which is a surprise. And because traditionally he's more of a thrusting sumo wrestler, whereas now he's doing both. He's pushing people out of the ring, and he's also grappling them on the belt.
Yep, as we can see, because of his winning styles of late, they're the Oshidashi, which is like pushing them out, and the Yorikiri, which is forcing them out on the belt. Mm-hmm. Oshidashi has 33% of the time, and Yorikiri is 25% of the time. So he's become more balanced, which I think is serving him well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's becoming more balanced, and I think that that's the key in this situation if he is going to continue to rise up the rankings. He's at West Megashira 8, which is a good position for him, because if he struggles in this tournament, he won't have to worry so much about the motion, unless he does really poorly.
Yeah, if he's finishing like 2-13, good Lord, he might have to.
Mm-hmm. And then after that, we had another surprise tournament in Endo.
Yeah, Endo. A 10-5 finish. It was a finish he absolutely needed because he was staring down the barrel of possible demotion. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, a very, very, very good tournament for him, and one I will not complain about.
Mm-hmm. He got really lucky because the first week of the tournament, he struggled a little bit, but then bounced back really well and, continued to gain momentum. And he finished 10-5, and he was in the hunt for the victory.
Yep. There was like 7 different people in the hunt at the end. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And then another guy who had a consistently decent tournament last time was Daisho.
Yeah, he was another guy who I buried, and he was another guy who shut me up.
Finishing 8-7.
Yeah, I know. Finishing 8-7. He was another guy who I pretty much said the same thing as I did for Daishomaru. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool name. What the hell else can you do? Mm-hmm. And, well, he took offense to that and shut me up. Good on you, Daisho.
Mm-hmm. I think he'll have a consistent tournament again. I think he might finish 8-7 or 7-9, depending again on who he faces.
Yeah, although like we've said before, his placement in the ranking really helps him here at Megashira 9. So,
And then we have the lone Brazilian in the top of the field, Kaisei.
he also had a good tournament. Coming back from Jurio, he finished 9-6. He obviously wants to be here. So,
I think he'll finish 9-6 again, or he'll struggle in the middle pack of the rankings and finish below that. But we'll see what he does from here, because he's now at Megashira 10, sort of in a safe zone a little bit. But after that, we have a guy who will probably be bouncing back hard in this tournament, Ikoi.
He's someone who needs to bounce back hard. Let's be fair here. It was not a good tournament for the man, finishing 6-9, including dropping his last 4 in a row. I mean, not as bad as his last tournament where he finished 4-11, but still, he needs to do better. I think his ranking might help him a bit, but even then, he was at West Megashira number 7 last tournament, and he still finished that badly. So, I hope it works out for him, but I'm not expecting much. I'm expecting him to go 6-9, 7-8.
So then we have a guy returning from injury in Oyama.
Oyama, yeah. He was someone who was injured for most of the last tournament and actually came back at the end to try and fight some more. Didn't do terrible. He finished, 3-5. Considering he was still likely injured, I don't want to give him too much grief, but yeah. And that came out of that tournament sadly happened after his very good second place finish in the July Basho, where he finished 13-2. So
we'll see how he does here. I think he's in a good spot at East Megashira 11.
I think he is too. I really hope it works out for him because he looks he looked really good in July. And I kind of like that. And then that happened. So I hope he regains his momentum.
And then we have the guy who finished in 10-5 at East Megashira 16, Asoyonama.
Yeah, and you had picked him to do some good stuff, Fizzy.
Yeah, I thought that this guy, he did well in the Jurio Basho, the tournament before, at 11-4, and I felt that he would continue his momentum at Megashira 16. And he did.
Yeah. I mean, he's at West Megashira 11, which was a nice jump up in the rankings. 10-5. Also shared the Fighting Spirit Prize with my pick, Ono Show. So I found that pretty funny. But, I think these two are both very, very capable sumo wrestlers. He's also very young, and I think he'll do very good.
I think he'll do good in his second tournament. He'll probably finish either 9-7 in this tournament, or he'll actually do 10-5 again.
Yeah. He's hoping to do what Ono Show does. Although Ono Show, something I forgot to mention, is the only Rikishi in history, I believe, to start his first 3 tournaments at the top division with double-digit wins. Not even Hakuho did that. So
that's really good.
Yeah, that shows you how good this guy could potentially be. But after that we have Okinomi.
Okinomi did okay in the last tournament at 8-7.
Yeah, it was something he needed to do considering he, like some others, were facing the barrel of demotion. And, he did 8-7 and saved his rank. He's up to East Megashira number 12. He's probably still in that bit of a risky spot. I mean, he gave himself a little more breathing room, but he can't really afford a bad tournament. So,
another guy who can't afford a bad tournament is Kagayaki.
Oh, God, Kagayaki. Good Lord, Kagayaki. 4-11. My man, what were you doing out there?
Well, being thrown out of the ring, for one.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, it was bad for him. I almost felt for the man.
I mean, somebody had to take Kotoyuki's frequent flyer miles because he wasn't in the top division that tournament.
Yeah, and Kagayaki selflessly decided, you know what, Kotoyuki, I'll take it for you.
He is a bit of a weird mishmash of a sumo wrestler. He's got very long arms, but his height oftentimes is a disadvantage for him.
Yeah. So, Yeah, I'm not sure he does good this tournament. He's been really bad the past two.
Mm-hmm.
But he has had a couple high spots this year. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, are you going to show up or are you going to get demoted?
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. I mean, for both Okanumi and Kakayaki, this is a tournament for them to try and improve upon. And I think Okanumi, like I said, will probably have an 8-7 tournament. Kakayaki will probably finish 7-8, but that might not lead to a demotion because if some other people do worse than he does.
Yep.
Then we have Megashira 13, and this is very interesting. We have the cranky old guys in this spot.
Yeah. Cranky old man, what's his name? Takekaze.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't finish great last tournament, finished 6-9, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, it could have been worse.
Mm-hmm.
He's finished far worse in a couple tournaments this year, so that 6-9 looks like a freaking godsend.
Mm-hmm.
But still.
Mm-hmm. I think he'll have a deceptively decent tournament this time. Mm.
Yeah. He better hopes he has a decent tournament or he's getting demoted.
Mm-hmm. And then we have somebody returning from the Juryo division, Akamishiki. Mm.
Yep. Yeah, he's been pretty good. These in Juryo, he finished 9-6, 9-6, 10-5, 10-5, and now he's back.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna need to have a good tournament to stay back, though.
Mm-hmm. And I think that this wily veteran will be able to do so. He is at 39 years of age, the oldest man to return to Makuchiki since the Japanese Sumo Association began keeping records in the 1920s.
Yeah. So that shows you, you know,
mm-hmm.
how much of a feel-good thing this is for him.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever.
This guy I actually saw back in the 2000s. When I was watching Sumo on Sumo highlights on ESPN when they would run them in the summer. This is a guy that I'm actually familiar with. He is deceptively good. He has really good technique. He's a guy that relies more on... He prefers to work on the mawashi rather than push his opponents. He also specializes in throwing and tripping techniques. And he's also one of the few current wrestlers to employ the sotogake, or outer leg trip.
Ooh.
Yeah.
An unusual winning style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he also has favored the Miti Gyushu grip, which is left hand outside and right hand inside in his opponent's arms. He's also known for employing Henka.
Hooray! I'm sure that gets him really over with the Japanese audience.
Mm-hmm. He is one of the few wrestlers from the Ishima Gama stable. He debuted in January of 1997.
Yeah, he's been there a while. Yeah. I mean, he's been there pretty, only a couple of years longer or a couple of years shorter than some of these people wrestling now have been alive. So,
yeah. So then we turn to the Megashira 14 ranks, which returns us to Mr. Frequent Flyer Miles Kotoyuki.
Yes, he somehow had a very nice Juryo run and finished 10-5. And now he's back.
Mm-hmm.
He better do better than that 4-11 in July,
where he was the most frequent flyer of frequent flyer miles.
Yeah. I mean, he better have a good tournament to finish 2017 because this 2017 has absolutely sucked. Here's a guy who I will bury the crap out of. Sorry, Taker, I'm not putting the shovel down yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's his 2017 in the top division. 6-9 in January, 5-10 in March, 6-9 in May, and 4-11 in July. Holy crap, man. What were you doing other than flying?
Mm-hmm. I think he'll have a decent tournament this time around. I think he'll probably finish 8-7.
He is praying to every god in existence that he finishes 8-7.
Mm-hmm. And then we have a new guy, Dayamami.
Yeah, Dayamami.
Mm-hmm.
New guy. First tournament in Makuchi. He's done pretty decent. He was Juryo Division champion at East Juryo 8 back in July and finished 9-6 at East Juryo 3 in September, and now he's got the call up. So he's had some experience. He's actually won a championship. I'm not really sure what to expect of him though.
Mm-hmm.
He does work the belt though, because he has a lot of Yorikiri wins, so
Mm-hmm.
that might work to his advantage. Because guys who work the belt have tended to do pretty well lately in Makuchi.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he's now joining the group of Sekitoris from the Otakaze stable. He joins Daishoyu, Daishomaru, and Endo in the top division.
And those three all had good tournaments last time after I utterly buried them.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe I should utterly bury him and he'll have a good tournament this time. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I think that they're doing good work at the stable, at the Otakaze stable, because Daisho Yama is the stable master right now.
Wait a minute. Why is Endo a member of that stable and he doesn't have the Dai part in his name? What the hell is you doing, Endo?
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Yeah, he was lived in the same prefecture as Daisho Yama.
Oh, I'm just wondering, like, because I know like stables, when they usually have like a naming tradition, they usually hold them to it. I wonder why he isn't doing that.
It's because he decided to keep his surname.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little weird, but it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Endo, stop being different. Why don't you just call yourself Die Endo?
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't make sense in translation. I'm sure someone. Ah, crap. We need MDS here because he actually lives in Japan, so he could probably like tell us what Endo translates to or something.
I'll have to ask him later. Then we have the two returnings from Juryo, Nishidigi and Muiguru.
Yeah. Well, actually, Nishikigi was still with us last time. He was at East Megashira 13 and finished 6 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
He escaped demotion by the skin of his teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he better hope he escapes it again.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, I mean he needs to go 8 and 7 like he did in July when he was East Megashira number 15, or he's going back down.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see how he does here. I mean, he's in East Megashira 15 again. He might have a decent basho. He might finish 8 and 7, like Sal said, and we'll see where he goes from there.
Yeah, Giryu, on the other hand, had a nice little 2-tournament stint in Juryo where he finished 10 and 5 in July and 8 and 7 in September, and he's now back. And he's hoping to do better than when he was Megashira 15 back in May, where he finished 4 and 11.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he does good, because if he has a losing record, he is going back down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he'll have a decent tournament this time around. He's back at East Megashira 15. I feel as though that he will be decent, maybe finish 8 and 7 or 7 and 9 and be demoted back down again. But we'll see where he goes from here.
Yep.
And finally, we have one Megashira 16, Ura.
Yeah, and this is a guy I really like because he does a lot of unconventional sumo. Sadly, he got injured last time. It went 1-2 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
He was actually rumored to have been injured before the tournament and hardly did any training, and was like really late in saying he was going to compete.
Mm-hmm.
So he tried. He actually got a win in his first match. Then he fought Takakeisho and like reactivated the injury in his second match and withdrew from the rest of the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't great. I mean, I really hope he does well this tournament because he's a guy I really enjoy watching.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. I think he'll do okay in this tournament. I think he'll either finish 8 and 7 or he'll actually go on a tear and finish 10 and 5. It all depends on if his injury is healed 100% or not, and depends on who he's going to be matching up with in the tournament. He's got some chances to do well against certain individuals, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. And that's the entire field. So, Fizzy, who are you picking for your winner?
Oh, well, this is going to be a very, very tough tournament. I feel as though that there are a lot of different individuals who could potentially win the Winter Basho at this point. We have the returning Yokozuna, who will be most likely going on a rampage through the rankings. The Ozeki look decent this tournament. The Sekiwaki are consistent. The Komosubi have done well. And even the Megashiras have picked up some slack at this point.
Yep.
It's going to be difficult for me to pick a winner in this situation, but I got a couple of picks. Haruma Fuji,
Okay.
Takayatsu,
Okay.
Yoshikaze.
Okay.
I'm going to go maybe Uncle Toshikiku because I know that you're going to probably pick Onosho.
Damn right I am.
Endo.
Okay.
I feel like Akamishiki might have a decent tournament as well, and Ura.
Okay. We'll agree on Ura. Haruma Fuji, I think, will have a solid chance. I still love Lord Hakuho, so he'll always have a pick with me. I'm gonna take Takayasu as well. And I think I'm gonna go slightly out here, and I'm gonna go with Chio Tairyu as a possible sleeper pick. I know he finished really weak at the end of it, but he's been climbing up the ranks really steadily and surely, so I think he might do something this tournament. I think this might be his breakout. And I'm gonna give some love to Daishomaru this tournament because he utterly shut me up. So I'll have him as a real outside pick too.
So there we go, folks. We have our picks for the 2017 Kyushu Basho. Now, remember, this Basho will be on the second week of November. And another reminder, folks, if you're looking for more information on the world of professional sumo, you can go to the Sumo Forum and Sumo Database, which has a large database on the world of professional sumo wrestling. I mean, for us, we're not experts. We've said it before in past videos.
No. I mean, we know the history. We know how to win. We know people have been dominant. We analyze match records and stuff like that. But we're not like coaches of this thing. We're not like the John Madden of sumo.
Yeah, those guys at the Sumo Forum, those guys are the real experts. Those guys have been sumo wrestling fans and contributors for nearly decades, in some cases. And we both of us have just gotten back in. I've gotten back into sumo wrestling. Sal is really interested in sumo wrestling because of Japanese culture.
Yep. I am a total Japanophile, and I admit this with no shame whatsoever.
So we have our picks for the Kyushu Basho, and like we said, it will be on the second Sunday of November, which will be, I believe, on November
12th.
12th.
Yeah. So, look forward to that. Some channels you can follow. I'm pretty sure there's an official sumo channel on YouTube. There's also a channel by the name of King Tamayama, who does compilations of all the matches and puts them on his YouTube channel. He does very good work. So he's a guy you should follow too.
Yep, one of the members of the Sumo Forum, as we've talked about earlier. He does match compilations and does them day by day. And so we have the Sumo Bashos to look forward to for the next couple of weeks. But next week, I'm not really sure what we're going to be doing as far as a show goes. I know we're going to be doing New Japan Power Struggle.
Yes. We might do your indie recap if you get time to it. If you go to it and you want to do a recap, we'll probably do that and Power Struggle. If you don't get time to do that and we don't recap it, we'll probably do Power Struggle in WWE.
I most likely will be doing the indie recap of Southern Tier Wrestling's Return of the Cobra. Santino Morella's at this show, so that's why they named it that.
All right.
At the Frigid Frozen Ice Arena.
Yep. So I guess that'll be our plan for next Friday then. We'll have your recap and your of the Southern Tier Wrestling and my Power Struggle recap, and WWE can sit in timeout for another week because I am utterly uninterested in most of what they're doing.
Well, I have some interest in what they're doing, but like we said, we'll see how things go next week for episode 34 of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. But this has been episode 33. Thank you so much for tuning in on this edition of the show for our Sumo preview. This is the last one of the year that we'll be doing, and we'll be back with the Sumo previews in January for the New Year's Basho.
Yep.
And let's see here. Our two plugs for the week are we have Shootin' the Breeze. Their episode is a little delayed because they're having to do some editing, merging two shows together. And spoiler alert, folks, there's a person on that show this week who gets to talk about independent wrestling and alternatives for WWE. That would be me.
Yep. And that will be a good show to watch. And our other friends we'd like to plug are Two Guys One Sport, Crazy Chris and Curtain Jerker, who actually did their show yesterday because Curtain Jerker is going to his indie all AAW because they're selling tickets to a show in February where Tetsuya Naito will be on.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going there so we can try and get a ticket because I do not blame the man. It has freaking Tetsuya Naito. Go, man, go.
Kind of a weird strategy to be selling your tickets for a show that will be happening in a few months when you don't know whether or not the guy is going to be there or not, especially since he's from Japan.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he will be there according to like some stuff they like the other year they had the IWGP champion actually show up in an indie or two in February, or someone else who was similarly high on the card. So it is an outside the realm of possibility, but I think it'll be cool. Hopefully he will be IWGP champion when he goes, because that would be freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm. And a couple more notes, folks. Shootin' the Breeze will be moving their time schedule to Saturdays at, I believe, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time instead of Thursdays. It's easier for both Takers Meaning and Mr. Dr. Senju to be doing the shows. Wanted to give you that programming note. And I'm not sure if Two Guys One Sport's going to be moving their time to Saturdays as well, but they have been moving their time slot around a little bit. They did do their emergency show on Thursday because Curtain Jerker, as Sal said, is going to
AAW, All American Wrestling.
AAW, okay, AAW in Chicago for the show that they're having tonight.
Yep, which sounds like a fun show. I mean, I've seen a bunch of his recaps. A lot of the matches, on paper, they sound really fun. They're kind of like a super indie, only not. I guess you could say. I mean, they kind of are, but they don't like travel. So.
But we'll see how it goes for Curtain Jerker, and we'll see how it goes for all of you this weekend. Have a great weekend today, folks. We'll see you next week at our usual time. If not, we'll let you know via the Twitters. I'm at Fizzpatrick14.
And I'm at Cusmano_Sal.
And once again, we thank you so much for watching on this edition of Fizzy's Wacky World of Wrestling. Have a great weekend, folks, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye, people.